Okay, so you're all very welcome to the Introduction to Learn with Nala webinar today. So what we're going to cover is basically an introduction to what is Learn with Nala. We're going to talk about the differences between learner accounts and tutor accounts. So we have two different account types on the platform now, which will be different to those of you who mentioned you were familiar with Right on our previous platform. I'm going to be talking a little bit about helping learners to create accounts, helping them to register for courses, and then once they're set up, how do you help them through the course and give them guidance with it. We'll be discussing how you can monitor progress on your tutor account, and I'll be talking about supporting learners to prepare for portfolio work. So like John mentioned, we offer courses at level 2 and 3 of the NFQ framework. And if you want, you can use Learn with Nala for that purpose. And then I'll be talking through some quick tips as well about using the platform. So what is it? Learn with Nala is an e-learning platform where we offer online courses and they're free and learners can do them at their own pace. They can do them either in class or in the privacy of their own home if they prefer. We offer courses at 4 different levels. And like I mentioned, you can get QQI qualifications for the level 2 and level 3 courses. And as you all know, level 3 is roughly the equivalent of a junior cert. So Learn with Nala is a little bit different in terms of an e-learning platform in that we offer a lot of support for learners and tutors. So we're funded through Solus, and as part of that funding, it's recognised that our learners may need a little bit more assistance with navigation of the website. So we have supports that are built in that I'll talk about later, but we have things like the free phone number that learners can call and tutors can call if they need more support. I'm available to offer training to any colleagues or anyone who might need it. And the other thing to mention about the website is that it's geared towards learners who are age 16 and over. So once a learner turns 16, they can use the platform and they could register and do courses on it. But I suppose as the National Adult Literacy Agency, our remit is to work with adults and those engaging in further education. So to explain the account types then, so we have 2 different account types. We have tutor accounts and learner accounts. And for the purposes of today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Paula O'Connor's account when I'm talking about tutors. She's one of our NALA tutors here. And the reason that Paula uses Learn with NALA is because she wants to keep track of her class progress. She wants to see how they're all getting on, how often that they've logged in, if they're struggling with anything. And then I'm going to use Mike Smith's account when I'm showing you learner account information. And Mike is a learner in class, and the reason he would use Learn with Nala is for blended learning to supplement what he's doing with Paula already. So this is how the centers work then. So generally for organizations, we set them up as a center on Learn with Nala. So say, for example, Youth Reach Portumna is its own center, and it has tutor accounts. It might have 4 or 5 tutors in the center who are using this platform. And then within that center, they can generate as many learner accounts as they like. So I've sent them a link where, or I will be sending them a link where they can use that to create accounts for their learners. And by using that link, they're all kept within that center. And then the accreditation goes to that center then when the learners do QQI assessment. So outside of, say, that one Youth Reach, we have about 230 centres in Ireland, all over Ireland. So we might have like their local ETB might be a separate centre, and they would have their own tutor accounts and their own learner accounts, and they can only see within their own centre. They can't see anybody else's information. And then outside of that, we have about 2,000 independent learners in Ireland, and these are people who may never set foot in an educational institution for various reasons. Sometimes it's around travel, sometimes they're just not ready yet, and they can use Learn with Nala on their own at home, and understandably they rely a lot more heavily on our free phone services, and they may need quite a bit more support than the centre learners. So what I'll do now is I'll show you a quick video of what a tutor account would look like. So I'm here in Paula's account, and you can see her notifications are there under the bell icon. This button here is called the course selector. So this is where she can find some of her courses. She's going into functional mathematics here. And she clicks on content to get to all of the lessons in functional maths. And then she can then click again on that little home icon to get back to her tutor homepage. For me, I think it looks very similar to other social media kind of websites, or what we've come to know with the likes of Facebook and things like that. Home icons, notifications, it follows a lot of similar principles. So then the main thing then I think to learn about today, and for people who are new to the platform, is how to help a learner to get started. So there's 2 steps. It's fairly straightforward. The first step is to fill out an account page, so to follow the learner link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow a real learner link now, because I want to just show you what it looks like in real time. So I've just clicked on a learner link here for an NLN centre in Cork. And I know that this is the correct link because I'm scrolling down to the bottom here, and you see it says Learning Centre, and it says National Learning Network Hollyhill. And I actually can't, I'm trying to click into this here and I can't edit it. So for you on the call today, if you have the learner link for your own centres, you would not be able to change this. It would be fixed to your centre. So just to show you then the account setup page, again, it's quite reminiscent of the kind of an account setup page that we'd all be familiar with, but there are a few differences. So when it comes to creating a username and password, something that I get told all the time from tutors is that it can be very helpful to have a system about how you set up usernames and passwords. Just with the nature of our learners, sometimes this could be very new to them, or it could be easy to forget their usernames and passwords, or they may never have had to do this before. So some tutors have told me that they like to do first name dot surname, or you can choose your own system. But that can be good. And of course, there is a password reset function on the website that I'll show you in a minute. But it can throw off your whole class if you're waiting for that email to come through and then they can't remember what email they signed up with, or that kind of those kind of things that can happen. They also need an email address then to sign up. And the other thing is it's all standard stuff. The other thing just to draw your attention to is they need a PPS number as well. And the reason we ask for that is because QQI request it when they're going when they're verifying the certs. So that is more or less it. So once they filled out that information, then they can click create account, and they'll have made their own account, and they'll get confirmation of that to their email. So that's it. And if I was to ask you to remember anything from today, I think the key takeaway is just to use your learner link when you're setting up accounts to your own centre, because if they go through the website without the learner link and set up their own account, they're then what I described earlier as the independent learners, and you won't be able to see their progress as a tutor. You won't be able to help them through the course. So just make sure you use the learner link and get the other tutors in your centre to do that. Okay, so the next bit then is to sign up for courses. So this might be helpful for Melissa to see a little bit more about the course options. So at the moment, we offer courses at 4 different levels. Our level 1 courses and you can achieve NALA certificates for them, and the same for our preparing for level 3 courses. So we offer preparing for level 3 courses as an intermediate between level 2 and level 3 of the QQI courses. And the reason we offer preparing for level 3 is because we got a lot of feedback from learners that it can be a big jump. It can be quite difficult. And some tutors use the preparing for level 3 as something maybe learners could be tipping away at over summer if their centre closes over the summer, or they just introduce it as something that they do between the two. It's up to yourselves if you think it'd be helpful. And then the level 2 and 3 courses are QQI validated. Just to say, at the moment, my colleague is working on getting our level 1 courses validated this year. But as some of you might be aware, it's a huge undertaking. So we're hoping by 2024, the level 1s will be validated. But the QQI level 2 and 3 courses are extremely popular. So at the moment, we're the biggest provider of QQI certification at level 2 and 3 in Ireland. So it's proving to be something that people use. So then this is the course website where learners can sign up to courses. So I'll just show you this. So the learners can search the courses depending on what they're interested in. So I'm just going to pause this here for a moment so you can see the general categories of the courses we offer. But for Melissa or anyone else who's interested in researching a little bit more about what courses are on offer, you can go to learnwithnala.ie and browse and see if it might be suitable for your learners. But the main areas that we offer courses in are of course reading and writing, but we also do maths and computers. And then we also offer courses in communications, personal development, so job preparation, self-advocacy, themes like that. And we do health and safety, and then finance as well, so courses around managing your money. We offer the courses then at the different levels. You can search according to the level that you want, or you can search according to major awards or short courses. So we offer major awards at level 2 and 3 as well. So I'm just scrolling down now so you can see the breadth of the courses. So you can see on the right here, they're all NALA certificates. And then when we get to level 2, we're into the QQI awards. And then I'm just showing you the amount of them. There's a second page there as well. So they're the courses. And then once a learner clicks register now on the course, they'll be brought over to this page. So it'll say existing user or new user. So you've already set up an account with them. So once you've done that, they can click existing user, they log in. And I'll just show you what that looks like then. So they're going to click login. And then they're brought to the login page. So any of you who already have tutor accounts, this will look familiar to you. It's the same as your login page. So I'm entering my details in here. Oh, beg my pardon. I just got rid of that there by mistake. You can see, do you remember earlier I said we have a system or we have a way of resetting your password? If you see underneath the blue login button there, it says forgot your password. So that's where they do that. I just thought I'd point it out. So I'm logging in here now after I've registered for a course, and then you can see it says checkout. And I can click start your course there and be brought straight through to the course that I've signed up for. The other thing, just to mention as well, as a learner will get an email to the email address that they signed up with their course information. And this can be really helpful. I've met learners before who actually say that they use this email every single time to navigate into their course if they're trying to do it at home on their own. So it can be just helpful that they have this as well. And that's it. That's all it takes to helping a learner to get started on the platform. They're the 2 steps done. So filling out an account page and then just signing up for a course. And once they sign up for a course, then that'll appear in their Learn with Nala account, and they could just get started on it. So I'm going to explain something now that I think is really helpful for you to know as tutors, but it might not necessarily be something I'd be sharing with learners because it's confusing. But I think it's good for you to know. So Learn with Nala is two separate websites. So the website that I just showed you there, learnwithnala.ie, the one on the left, is where you can sign up for courses. It's where you get the courses from. Whereas learn.nala.ie is where they actually do the courses. So once they sign up, the courses appear on that website and they can do them. So to try and make it a little bit simple, you're going to be spending the vast majority of your time on the one on the right there, learn.nala.ie, because that's where they're going to be doing all the courses, going through the content, doing the tests. But you'll only need to go to learnwithnala.ie when it's time to sign up for more courses. So the way I kind of see it or try to understand it in my own mind when I first started was learnwithnala.ie, the blue one there, is like the shop where you buy the courses, and once they're bought they appear on the other website. You remember in that screen it said checkout when we got the course, even though it's free. That it's a similar kind of idea. It is like a shop, where obviously, like I said, everything is free, but that's the way it runs. And it is unfortunate, and we're trying to change this, but at the minute, the way the technology works, we have to do it this way. There's no other way. And at every opportunity, we try to bounce the learners into learn.nala.ie once they finish what they need to do on learnwithnala.ie. So you can see it said start your course now, or log in now. So there's lots of ways to kind of bounce them into the correct website, but it might be helpful for you to bookmark both of these websites on your own computer, just so you know where to go. And you could even call them like signing up for courses or doing courses, or whatever helps you to remember. And I'll be sending the slides, of course, after today, so you'll have the details. So then when it comes to finding your courses, I showed you really briefly earlier on Paula's account. You can use this button here on your tutor homepage. We call it the waffle icon because it has those 9 squares and it looks a little bit like a waffle. The other way you can do it, what I'll do is I might just show you. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, what I might just do, I'll show you this for the moment. I'll log into Paula's account. So it's probably better to show you in real life. So you can use the waffle. And if you like, you can pin courses to the top. And this could be a great one to show learners how to do. And it's of course brilliant for digital skills as well, learning about, pinning comes up in other contexts as well. So obviously Paula might be teaching computer skills at the moment. So she has that pinned right to the top, and it'll always come up at the top for her. And then the other place you can find the courses is just right here underneath your center banner. You'll have all the courses that you've signed up for. And on your tutor account, you'll be able to see all the courses. So you get access to everything. And the reason we do this is to let you explore the courses before you recommend them to learners. Or some tutors choose parts of courses that they like to do in class. They don't actually sign learners up, but they just use it as a resource or another tool for teaching something. And the other thing, while I'm just showing you the website, it can be helpful to be aware that, see on the right here, we have an icon for phone support. We have our free phone number here and our free phone email address here. So you can contact Jennifer or Paula on that. All the details are there if you need to, or if your learners need to. And then also, if you run into any issues on the website, we always want to know, you can click the online form as well. So that is finding the courses. And what I'll do is bring the presentation back across. So hopefully that's clear enough. The next piece then that's really helpful as a tutor is to be able to monitor progress of your learners. So to be able to see how they're doing with the course. So when you're looking to monitor progress, you need to go to the course that you want to know about. So if you want to know about reading level 2, you need to go to reading level 2. If you want to know about how your learners in your maths level 3 class are getting on, you need to click into that course. That can be the one of the bigger stumbling blocks around this one. And then you go into course admin and you can click class progress. So I'm going to show you a video of a couple of ways of doing this now. We have a few different views of class progress. So in this case, I want to know about maths level 3. So I'm using my waffle. I'm going into maths level 3. And I'm going into course admin up at the top navigation bar there. And to begin with, I want to know about class progress. So I'm going to click on that. And you can see here, I have a list of names, and generally these will be real people's names. You can see the first one is learner involved test. I can't use real people's names, so these are just made up names, but it would have Joe Blogs. So if you wanted to know about that person's grades, you would click their name. And you can see when I hover over that grades column there, do you see there's a box that's gotten slightly bigger? If I hover over those blocks there, some of them are blue and some of them are red and some of them are orange, it'll show me a high level view of how the learner has got on with that whole module. So I can see the blue means pass, and I can see that this person, the third person in the row here, there's quite a bit of red there. So I could hover over and it'll show me what task or lesson that they haven't completed yet. So I'll click this person's name to find out a bit more about them. And I have grades here, and this is a drop-down menu. So I need to click the grades drop-down. And as I scroll down, I can see pass, pass, pass. But at the very bottom there, I missed it. It said redo. So I know that they need to redo that question on the end test. Now, the other view is going back to class admin and clicking grades. And then, one second. And then this is a much more visual view. You get the red and the green if the person has passed or needs to go back and redo the lesson. The other option, then I could click export on that and export all of the information on that class's grades. So this could be helpful if you may be in that coordinator role, or you have a requirement to give information in terms of your grades. I'm getting a message here to say that my sound quality is low. Can you hear me okay, everyone?
I can hear you perfectly, Rona, yeah.
Okay, that's a bit strange. I'll just X out of this here. All right, so, and this is the Excel spreadsheet anyway. So this is what you can download in terms of grades and how your learners are doing. So that might be a feature for some of you. Now, when it comes to QQI, then I suppose all of you know this, the big thing to be aware of are the course descriptors and the learning objectives. We have all the course descriptors available in our tutor guide that you can download on our website as part of Learn with NALA, or you can look them up on the Q search function as well on QQI's website. So when you're submitting for QQI with us on the website, there's two things that you need to make sure are done. So the first one is the learner has to have passed the end test. And the second one is that if there's portfolio work as part of that course, they need to have completed that as well. And once those two things have been done on our website, when the time comes to do a QQI round, so actually our deadline is today for one of our QQI rounds. So today we'll do a scan on our whole system, and once both of those things are done and in place for that learner, we automatically put them forward for internal verification in NALA's. So my colleague Joan Butler always mentions this. I sometimes hear her when I'm presenting this part. She looks after all our QQI work, but she always says that tutors should put on their assessor hat when they're supporting learners with QQI. So you really do need to check their work before they're submitting, and to give them every possible chance to do as well as possible on it. And just to be, I suppose, to be aware that they know exactly what the requirements are. They will all be written in the portfolio section of the course. There's very clear, we often have videos accompanying it and what they need to do, but just to give them a chance. And as well, just to make you aware, like you know this so much more than I do, but the QQI portfolio work will be really different depending on what the learner needs to demonstrate. So we could have things like mock interviews. I know they were scheduled for last week in NALA. So your learner may need to phone us to book an appointment in advance, or it could be different again, but just read the instructions in the portfolio section and you'll know what's needed. The other great resource that we have is, I've linked it here, but Joan recorded an hour-long webinar about QQI and how to support learners with portfolio work, and it's really informative because this is her full-time job, so I'd really recommend taking a look at that if you're a little bit unsure about how to navigate the QQI piece. Now I'm wondering, is Laura back today because of this section? This is can be the most confusing part of this presentation. I think we kind of covered the really I think important stuff at the start, and I always say at this point, it's okay if this bit doesn't make sense until you're really comfortable and used to using the platform. It's one of those things, I think you have to do it to kind of get it, but I'll explain it so you'll know what to look out for. So as part of Learn with NALA, we offer recognition of prior learning, and we call that What Do I Already Know? So What Do I Already Know is it's an initial assessment. We got feedback from our previous platform that learners didn't like the word assessment, so we changed it to What Do I Already Know? And we do this because we recognize that learners can often come to some of the courses with these sort of spiky profiles, or they might have certain life experiences that mean that they don't need to do sections of the course. So this is a way for them to fast track themselves through courses that they might have prior knowledge of already. So I made this to try and explain how learners can go through the course. So if they do the What Do I Already Know initial assessment and all the tasks are answered correctly, they can go directly to the end test. So the end test will pop up at the bottom of the course for them, and they can just go straight to that. The other thing that can happen is, sorry, I just want to mention as well, this option 1 is really, really great for learners who have low confidence. So some tutors tell me that they might have a learner who thinks that they aren't ready for level 3 and they should be doing level 2. And sometimes the tutor will get them to do What Do I Already Know at level 2. And it just shows the learner, hey, you actually know all of this or the majority of this already. So you really are ready to go on to, a level 3. So then the middle option then is that they may answer all the tasks in What Do I Already Know incorrectly. So, it could be a very well chosen course for them in that they do need to do all of the lessons. And some of our learners actually just do this anyway. So they might just choose to do all the lessons because that's what they want to do, or it's being offered in a group context, so the whole class will just do all the lessons. That's fine. What do I already know is optional. And in that case, if you do all the lessons, the end test will pop up for you anyway, because you've completed all of the content. And then the third thing that can happen that's slightly more complicated is that if the learner does what do I already know, and say they get task 1, 2, and 3 correct, but then they get task maybe 4 wrong, or and then they go on and get task 7 wrong, then they only need to do the lessons in the course for the tasks that they answered incorrectly. So they just need to do lesson 4 and lesson 7. And then once they've just done the ones that they didn't get right in the initial assessment, then the end test pops up for them. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to show you a video just of myself completing what do I already know on the self-advocacy level 2 course. And this gives you a good sense of the website as well. I'm just going to show you, just pausing it briefly. You can see that there's speakers at the start, a little speaker icon at the start of every sentence. That is the text-to-speech function. So that will read everything. Everything on the website has this. It'll read it out loud to the learner. And then where possible, we put loads of videos in to explain to the learners what's expected of them. So I've just completed what do I already know. It says congratulations. And then the what we already know is completed, 2 out of 2. So what I do now is I go in and check my progress. So I need to know how I got on as a learner with this. So I go into my progress summary, grades drop down, and I'm scrolling down. I can see a lot of passes, but here we are, task 1 and task 2, it says go to lesson. So I know, okay, I got task 1 and task 2 wrong. So I need to do lesson 1 and lesson 2. And then if I'm right, once I've done all of those lessons, the end test should pop up for me. So here's one I prepared earlier. There's a lot of content in lesson 1 and lesson 2, so I won't make you watch me do all of that. But this is me anyway, finishing lesson 2. So 17 out of 17, congratulations. I got a badge, like what John mentioned earlier, they can be quite motivating. And I can see I've done lesson 1 and lesson 2. I haven't done anything else, but there's the end test at the very bottom for me. So I can go ahead and start doing that now if I want. So just to recap, the end test will only come up if you answered everything in the what do I already know RPL assessment correctly, or if you do all of the lessons, or like what I just did there, I completed the lessons based on my incorrect task. So what learners need to do is just check their progress. If they're ever in doubt, just go into my progress and have a look at their grades, and they'll know straight away if they need to repeat anything in terms of an end test. It'll say redo or go to lesson if they need to redo anything. Something to just point out before we move into the tips part of this, what do we already know will disappear after the learner attempts it once. So I know one of our former employees used to call it like the mocks, you get one shot at it. And this, like, if you think about it, it makes sense, because if learners had unlimited goes at this, they could just fast track themselves through everything, and the end test is different because you can do it as many times as you like. So it's like the leaving cert, you can resit it, you can repeat it as many times as you like. And that's kind of how they work. So we're coming to the end now, but I just wanted to run through some quick tips. For the assessments, if it gives you the option to check answers, just make sure the learners do that, because they have to do that to submit their score. So when I started using this for the first time, I was a little bit maybe cocky with some of my questions, and I just thought, yeah, next, I've got this, but you need to click check answers. The other thing for you to know is, as people who might be guiding people through this, is that we use different words for different parts of the courses. So if your learners are doing what we already know, everything is called task there, task 1, task 2, task 3. When they're doing the lessons, we call everything lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. And then in the end test, everything is called question. So it would be question 1, question 2, question 3. So if someone puts up their hand and says, I'm stuck on question 3, you'll know where they are in the lesson based on what they're saying. The other thing that learners can get, understandably confused about is that on this platform, it gives a tick when you've completed a question. And learners often think that means that they got it right, but a tick just means it's done. You visited that screen. So we'd always encourage them just to go and check my progress and grades, and they'll know their grades. But the tick just means, yeah, it's done. The other tip just to mention is when you log in for the first time, or a learner logs in for the first time, we have these videos called the Getting Started Guide, and they give a brief overview of a few different things that are important on the website for learners, and it's just to guide them through. In order to make this go away, or in order to stop it popping up every time you go in, you just need to click the next buttons. So there's an X up the top right hand side. If you exit, it'll just keep coming back every time you log in. So just make sure you go through it. So just click next, and then the final button will be a blue dismiss button where the next button is, and then it'll be gone. And you can access that again. It's on your home page. They can always click into it for help if they need it. But sometimes I have people saying, how do I make this go away? So the other just a couple of tips to mention: if you go into your help button on your main navigation bar, you'll find a tutor guide there. So it's about 60 pages long, and it has way more information than I'll ever be able to cover in an hour-long session. So it can be really helpful to have printed off and beside you when you're starting with this. We also have a lot of tutor resources available on the NALA website. So if you click into tutor resources, I think we have something like over 1,000 resources there available in PDF, and a lot of them really complement Learn with NALA as well. It can be really helpful to give that kind of paper-based element that some learners like to have, in tandem with an online course. Another thing just to mention is it has to be an up-to-date version of your internet browser. So it'll prompt you, it'll say, your Safari needs to be updated when you're using this, and it'll just say update now, and just click yes. Because the way sometimes we can be using dinosaur computers when we're trying to do these things. And the other, we also, in terms of resources, we have a YouTube channel in NALA, and we have a YouTube playlist for learners, and it can be helpful to either use the YouTube playlist or the learner video help section on the website itself. So it's available under their help icon. It can be really helpful for you as tutors to direct the learners to either of these resources, because it can just, I suppose it fosters their own independence, and it's another digital skill, and it's a way to, I suppose, support them in helping themselves with this as well. If you think it's something that might be suitable for them, it can be good. So it can guide them through things like, how do I check my grades? So it means you're not over their shoulder sort of, navigating it for them. So finally then, in terms of troubleshooting, if you get stuck, like I mentioned earlier, and I showed you on the home page, this is a free phone number, and that's the free phone email address. So it's a great one to have on a day-to-day basis if any of this is difficult for you or your learners. I tend to do kind of longer trainings with centres. So if you have colleagues that need support with this, send them my way. I'll either sign them up for an open webinar, or we can have a video call and I can go through it with them. I think it's one of those things that it's better explained on something like this, rather than if you have someone new in your centre that really, doesn't know and isn't familiar. I think it's always better. I'm more than happy to set something up just to show them around. And then the other thing just to point out as well is we offer a lot of free resources in NALA. So some of those workbooks that I mentioned earlier, you can order those for free to your centre, and that's the link for them there. And yeah, they can be really helpful, and you don't have to be, the centre manager or anything to order them. If they're useful for your class, you can order 10 or order a box of them if you need them. And oh yeah, that's just to remind me to ask you for feedback. So what I'll do is I will pop that link in the chat in a moment. Because I'm just always looking for ways to improve this or make it more relevant to different centers. And that's it. So I'm going to just stop recording now and we can open the floor for some questions.